Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm going to be going over supply and demand zone trading or support resistance trading, as well as liquidity pools. There's a whole bunch of different names for it, but essentially it's all the same thing. Now we're going to hop onto the computer shortly. All I want to do is go over the key topics of what the video actually is going to entail. I'm going to show you guys what these zones actually look like, as well as how to effectively trade them and maximize your profit potential when it comes to your entries. So now we're going to jump into the computer. So we're going to be looking at gold. Let me switch over to the 4 hour. Let me use my little tools right here that I like to use when it comes to drawing these zones. I like to use these little rectangular tools just for the fact that it's very easy to see. So just draw this out right here. I'm going to tell you guys in a minute what supply and demand actually is. Now, first things first, what supply is basically it's a supply zone where a lot of traders essentially are looking to buy or sell that essential currency, indice, commodity, whatever the case might be. Now, the reason you want to call it a supply zone is because it's where the supply is. It's where all the traders are waiting to activate their trades, or they have a lot of orders to be filled at that price range just because it's a more favorable price, whether they're going in for a buy or a sell. And a demand zone is going to be everything in between. So right here, the path, you're going to see just everything in between is going to be the demand zone. Now, usually a lot of unexperienced traders are going to be trading in the demand zone rather than the supply zone. That's why everybody keeps talking about, oh, I trade liquidity pools, I trade how the banks trade, I trade off of supply, so on and so forth. But the truth that nobody ever really tells you is that to properly really trade supply and demand zones, you would actually need to see where all the order sizes are, and it's really hard to do that, just for the fact that these are data points that it's not public to many people, only people that are usually investment bankers or actual traders on the New York Stock Exchange and work with a brokerage to have this data. Usually if you have the Bloomberg terminal, you're going to be able to see where a lot of large order sizes are, and it's just something that firms do, communicate with all across the board. Now, a lot of people must be wondering how to actually trade these zones effectively. Now, the reason that I usually just call it price action trading or supply and demand, not supply and demand, support resistance area trading, because it's exactly what that is, right? You have your resistance area up here, which could be your supply zone. You have your support area down here, which is another supply zone. And then everything in between is just your demand. Now, the thing about demand is you don't really want to be in the demand. Now, the reason I'm going to say that is, let me move the thickness of this line. The reason I don't really like trading whenever I'm in between two areas is because it's just not a favorable position overall. Let's say I go for a long position, right? Let's just do an example like this. If I were to go all the way up to the supply zone, to 1 to 4, great, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that 1 to 4. But let me show you something else. Now, if I just simply move this down to enter into the other supply zone, obviously you'd want to do a break and retest, and I'll tell you guys what that is. You'd want to see something like this, exactly this actually. Break, retest. Now, instead of actually retesting coming down, it did the quite opposite. It broke and it stayed above. Yeah, I don't know why that went stupid, but we'll do it again, right? Break, retest, stayed, moved back up. Beautiful. So now let's see what the entry right here would have looked like. Remember, this is the same exact 1 to 4 that we would have took right here in the middle. Look at that, it's a 1 to 8. You literally double your profit right there. And you minimize your risk, right? Because price action never even got this low. So just with that, you make way more money right there. And a lot of people don't understand. A lot of people want to take a trade or force a trade in between zones when it's not really effective and it's not really the most viable option, right? At the end of the day, as a trader, you want to be trading your probabilities. You want to make sure that you as a trader make sure that you're in the trade and the most favorable position or entry possible, because you're in the business of making money and risking less money to make more money. Obviously, that's kind of counterintuitive, but at the end of the day, even though you're going to be risking a whole 1%, or you could risk 0.5%, 1/4%, you don't want to be in drawdown. You want to kind of avoid drawdown. Sometimes it's unavoidable and it happens, but if you time these things properly and sit on your hands and actually do your TA and understand where these zones are at, you could trade as effectively day over day, week over week, month over month, and this is going to help you overall to be more profitable as well as more consistent, which is what matters in trading. Now, same thing happening right here. You had the supply zone, it's selling down again. So this is actually a favorable sell. Now, the reason that you obviously want to pay attention to your trading strategy. My trading strategy would tell me not to get into this, right? Because even though we did reject this zone up here, we do have a lot of buying pressure, right? Like if you go to the 4 hour, we've been buying for days. Like go on to the daily. Look at all this buying pressure. This could simply just be a pullback. Now, what I would look at this pullback for is I would end up putting a resistance area right around here off of these two bodies and try to use that as an entry. Now, what would my entry look like for a buy? It's exactly what it would look like right here. I would risk my 1%. Now, let me go on I'd have to go on the daily and see where price action has been before to see where price could potentially go. Move that aside. Okay, there's a little bit of resistance up here. So that actually makes sense altogether. So now that makes sense, I know that this is a trade that I can take. Now, the main reason I do go back is so I could effectively see where price action has been. Of course, this wouldn't be effective if this is the highest high that price has ever been to, but thankfully, gold has been higher than this before, and we can go off of this past price action. Now, you can tell the two zones that I drew right here, if I move this back, hold on, let me go on the 4 hour and do this. Can I not? Okay, let's just keep going back. Actually, you know what, we'll do on the daily. Shouldn't be that hard. If I keep moving it back, it's gonna line up perfectly with what happened over here. And it was the same exact thing. The supply zone, boom, broke through. Same thing with here, broke past the supply zone, massive sell-off. This is where you're gonna see your big bodies and a lot of selling pressure or buying pressure. You're gonna tell that every single time we bounce off these zones, there was immense buying or selling pressure, which is exactly what this entailed, so on and so forth. Now, I'm gonna name this video, how to learn how to do supply and demand zone in less than 10 minutes. So I hope you guys do enjoy the video. I will be making more trade breakdowns like this so you guys could enjoy and learn from. The whole goal of all this YouTube channel stuff is for you guys to learn effectively, give some free content for you guys to actually consume. Hey guys, sorry for interrupting your video, but I just wanted to let you guys know, if you guys check the link in the description, I do have a private little link right there for you guys to have direct access to me through Telegram. It's not a bot, it's not some computerized assistant or anything. It's my personal Telegram link to where you can send me messages on any questions you guys have or other topics you guys want to talk about, and I'll be more than happy to respond to you guys. I'll try to respond to as many of you as possible. If I don't respond at the same time, just give me a couple minutes or an hour and I'll get to you accordingly. Now, also in the link in the description, I do have all the free Telegram, the signals chat. I do have the website where I offer all the services, and I also have a direct link to the free Forex and stock market coursework as well as crypto coursework. Now back to the vlog or video. If you guys have any questions, I have a link down in the description for my private Telegram where you have full access to me. You just send me a text. I've already replied to a couple of you guys. Don't be shy, or just send me a DM on Instagram. Hope you guys enjoy and have a great week.